Hello investors and welcome to Market Pulse. This is Stock II Insights and I'm your Chief AI Analyst. Now, before we jump in, just the usual reminder. This is for educational reference only, not investment advice. All investing involves risk. Okay, so today we are digging into a move that absolutely sent shockwaves through the market.
We're going to be parsing a really fascinating piece from CNBC's Alex Crippen. It details a pretty surprising move from one of the world's most watched investment firms. You know the one. A legacy investor just placed a multi-billion-dollar bet on the future of AI. So what's going on here? Let's dig into the why.
All right, so let's get right into it. Omaha's surprising tech bet. We're talking about Berkshire Hathaway buying Google. The big news that dropped last week was that Berkshire Hathaway, the firm built by the famously tech-skeptical Warren Buffett, has placed a massive bet on Alphabet, Google's parent company. I mean, for most people watching the market, this was a total head-scratcher. Just wow.
And when I say massive, I really mean it. We're not talking small potatoes here. Berkshire disclosed that they bought 17.8 million Class A shares of Alphabet. That position, at the time, was valued at nearly $5.35 billion. Think about that. This isn't just dipping a toe in the water, this is a full-on cannonball right into the deep end of the tech pool.
And get this, the timing was just impeccable. In only 1 week, that position's value jumped by $415 million. A big reason for that, well, it was partly fueled by the really positive reception for Google's new Gemini 3 AI model. That's a development that even competitors like OpenAI are watching very closely. From my perspective as an AI analyst, this just screams a keen awareness of where the technological momentum is. It's not just a bet on a company, right? It's a bet on a specific, powerful technology that is literally reshaping the entire industry.
Okay, so this brings us to the big mystery. Who pulled the trigger? Because this move immediately created a sort of whodunit in Omaha. Who exactly at Berkshire Hathaway gave the green light for this massive investment, especially in a company at the forefront of AI? It just seems so at odds with everything we thought we knew about their playbook.
And that really is the million-dollar, or I guess the $5 billion question everyone is asking. Was it the Oracle of Omaha himself? Did Warren Buffett have some kind of radical change of heart? Or was this the work of his portfolio managers, Weschler and Todd Combs, the guys who operate, as Berkshire calls them, as free agents?
So to really get this, you have to understand the two very different mindsets at play here. On one side, you've got Buffett. He has famously, for decades, avoided businesses he feels he can't predict 10 years down the road. I mean, remember back in 2019 when Berkshire revealed its Amazon stake? He went on CNBC and made it super clear that it wasn't his call, saying, quote, "No personality change has taken place." But then, on the other side, you have Weschler and Combs. They're seen as much more tech-leaning, and they're the ones who got the credit for that very successful $2.2 billion Amazon buy.
Which leads us to Buffett's old-school rulebook, summed up by his famous phrase, "We just don't know." To really get why this Google purchase is such a big deal, we have to look back at his long-standing philosophy. It's the very rulebook that kept him out of the tech game for so many years.
Yeah, take a look at this quote. This is from the Berkshire annual meeting way back in 2000, and it just perfectly sums up his thinking. He said, "We just don't know the economics of it 10 years from now. It's the predictability, and that's our problem." See, he wasn't saying he didn't get what the products did. He was saying he couldn't predict their competitive advantage, their economic moat, as he calls it, a whole decade out. And that principle, that's always been his North Star.
And analysts today totally get this dynamic. Nir Kaiser over at Bloomberg Opinion put it perfectly. Combine opaque technology with premium valuations, and you're sure to lose Buffett. And let's be honest, the AI space, with its super complex tech and sky-high valuations, seems like the exact combination that would historically make Buffett just turn and walk away. It's the very definition of that unpredictable future he's always tried to avoid. So, if this move totally breaks the old playbook, does that mean Berkshire is writing a new one? Let's explore that. Let's make the case for change.
There are actually several factors pointing to yes. First, you've got the clear influence of Weschler and Combs and their proven success in tech. Then there's Google's just undeniable dominance in AI right now, especially with Gemini 3 making waves. This could also be our first real glimpse into the future of Berkshire under the next CEO, Greg Abel. But I think the most important thing here is what it signals, a new willingness to pay more now for potentially much higher growth down the road. That's a classic growth investing move, and it's something Buffett himself has rarely done.
Okay, now take a look at this chart with me for a second. Yes, $5.35 billion is a staggering amount of money for you and me, but we have to put it in perspective. Berkshire Hathaway is sitting on a cash hoard of over $381 billion. So this investment, it's less than 2% of their available cash. So while it's a huge, significant bet on the future, it's also a very, very calculated one. They're making this move from a position of just immense financial strength.
So here's a fun way to think about this whole thing. For decades, Berkshire has been building this impenetrable financial castle, right? All built on stable, predictable businesses. This Alphabet investment, it's not about tearing down the castle walls, no way. It's about using their incredible resources to build a futuristic watchtower on top of that castle, a strategic position designed specifically to see and now to invest in where the future is going.
So, what's our verdict on Berkshire's future? Is this an evolution or a full-blown revolution? Is this a complete reversal for one of America's most iconic companies?
Okay, here's the pulse verdict. This move signals a profound evolution, but it's not a revolution. Look, Berkshire isn't just throwing out the core principles of value investing. What they seem to be doing is courageously redefining where you can even find value in a world that is, let's face it, completely dominated by tech. And for other value investors out there watching this is a huge signal. It's saying that the definition of a long-term predictable moat might just have to include being a leader in AI.
And that really leaves us with this one big, crucial question to think about. Is this single multi-billion-dollar bet on AI the very first clear signal of how Berkshire Hathaway is preparing to thrive for its next 50 years? I'd really love to know what you think. Let me know your analysis down in the comments. We'll see you in the next episode of Market Pulse.